Today, we're going to look at all of the Lego ideas, icons, and architecture sets that are retiring this year. I'm going to give you my investment grades and which ones I am picking up for my portfolio. We are back with our old friend, the Brick Fanatics September retirement list, and this is episode 4 of this mini-series where I rate and rank retiring Lego sets by theme. And in this video, I'm going to combine icons, ideas, and the one architecture set that are all retiring at the end of this year. It's 18 sets total. Check out the first installment in this mini-series. I hope I pointed in the right direction to get an explanation of all the data and tables that we're looking at, and check out my previous videos. So far, I've done this rating and ranking exercise for the Marvel sets, Star Wars, and Harry Potter. Before I jump into the sets, I will disclose to you that I already recorded this entire video, and at the end I realized I never hit the record button. So this is take 2. Hopefully it was a little better than my go around where I did not hit the record button. My 18th place set is an easy one. It is 10299, the Real Madrid Stadium. Lego has 3 stadiums so far, probably not any more are coming. And the first 2 that have retired have stayed flat or are losing money. The audience is just too narrow. So I am giving this one an enthusiasm score of 0 out of 3. 17th place set is the Friends Apartment. 3 mentions with an enthusiasm score of 1.3 in the last 6 months. Looking at the comparables, the Central Perk that retired last year is flat at $60. The Big Bang Theory, which is an ideas retired back in 2016, has increased from $60 to $200, but this is not representative of how the Friends Apartment set is going to perform, because the Big Bang Theory set came out when new seasons of Big Bang were still being made. I think the last season was 2018, so the buzz was really high around this TV show. Instead, here's a better example. Seinfeld, that retired last year, has lost from $80 down to $72. I think this one is very representative of how the Friends Apartment will perform. Therefore, I'm giving it a 0.5. Other than the Office set, I am not interested in the TV set Lego sets. 17th place is 10293, Santa's Visit. 6 mentions with an enthusiasm score of 1.8. It pains me to put this set in 17th place because when we look at the Winter Village collection and go all the way to the bottom, these sets have performed very well over the years. The first one from $60 to $196, and then new values on these sets that all are between $60 and $100 are $312, $428, $352, $189. It goes on and on, but unfortunately, this theme is just out of fashion right now. I think everybody saw the performance of previous sets. Post-retirement market is way oversaturated, so the last 3 just haven't done well. This is the Winter Village Fire Station, retired in 2020 from $100 to $120. The Gingerbread House retired in 2021 from $100 to $112. And then the Elf Clubhouse, which is probably one of the worst ones, retired last year and it's down a few bucks. Adding all that up, I give it a 0.9. Maybe the Christmas theme will come back and do well for investing sometime in the future, but it doesn't look like it's right now. 15th place is the Ideas Table Football. No mentions in favor of this set, but if we scroll down to the not top set table, unfortunately, it has 5 mentions against investing and reselling. $250, crazy expensive for what you actually do with it. It's been heavily discounted up to 40%. It has not sold well, and that's why this set is only going to have a 1 year, 2 month shelf life, which is really short for an Ideas set. But the main reason is because the fan submission was this, which looks great and playable and something a lot of us would want to buy, but Lego just couldn't figure out how to get something like this in this size with this amount of playability that would meet all of their constructability and durability standards. So they had to make this that is very small, very blocky and beefy. They threw in a bunch of extra minifigures to help out, but it just has not performed well. If we look at ideas overall, prices aren't on this list, but we all know that looking at these, most of these have done decent, if not very well, in retirement. So it'd be kind of weird for an idea set to not do well. I think this is one, unless you get it on a very, very heavy discount, like in the 60 to 70% off range, and then you're willing to hold it for a very long time. I can't go higher than a 1 for an enthusiasm score. I'm putting the Coliseum in 14th place. This is set 10276, 2 mentions with an enthusiasm score of 1.5. I can only give it a 1, just over a 3-year shelf life. It is $550. Yes, it's a 4.3 on brick set, and yes, it is an almost perfectly engineered Lego set, but it's all tan and it has a very narrow market. In the Landmark series, some of them have done well, some of them have not. This is the original large Taj Mahal that's up from $300 to $679. Big Ben, retired in 2018, is up from $250 to $382. But then we have the Sydney Opera House that retired in 2016, and it's only up from $320 to $344, which I'm surprised because what an architectural structure that is, and it looks great in Lego form. And then same thing with the Tower Bridge, also looks great. It's micro scale, retired in 2012, and it's up from $240 to only $260. So very hit or miss on the Landmark series. And since this one is such a high price and such a big box and takes up so much space on somebody's shelf, I think it's going to be a hard sell unless you're willing to hold on to it for a very long time, but then you're tying up a lot of money and space. I just don't think it's worth it. So that's why I'm putting it in 14th place with an E-score of 1. My 13th place set is 10290, the pickup truck. This one pains me. I really like the brick built medium to large size vehicles, especially all the sports cars and muscle cars, but these stylized ones just don't seem to do that well. And this one in particular, I do not like the shape at all. The bed area is good, but the cab is too blocky, and then the front fenders and hood are too tall and too squared off for me. Maybe it's the right shaping, but I just don't like how it looks. I do like all the side builds for all 4 seasons. It's received 5 mentions with an E-score of 1.8 over the last 6 months. London Bus retired in 2021, and it's down from 140 to 118. The Beetle retired in 2020. It's only up from 100 to 120. And then the T1 camper van that retired in 2012 is only up from 120 to 136. So the specialized narrow market brick built vehicle comparables do not look very good. Therefore, I'm giving it only a 1.3 enthusiasm score. My 12th place set is the Haunted House 10273. This might be a little bit surprising, but it does only have an E-score of 1.8 with 5 mentions. It will have a 3-year, 7-month shelf life. It's $300. I know the set is big, but it just seems way expensive for the volume of stuff. If we look at the other 6 Fairground collection sets, some of them are doing really well. The Grand Carousel retired in 2010, $250 to over $1,500. The Ferris wheel retired in 2018, $200 to $360. And then the second carousel retired in 2019, still $200 to $339. But with all that said, I'm only giving this set a 1.5, and it's for 2 main reasons. The ride mechanism sticks a little bit, which is the drop elevator, and it's mostly boxed into where you can't see it. And with these amusement park sets, the fun is being able to see the motion with the action features. So the ride itself is a problem. And then my second major issue is that the colors are ugly. The brown with the olive green and the gray. Yes, it is spooky, and yes, it's kind of haunted house like, but I just don't think it's very bright and very fun to look at. And I think they could have made other colors a lot more pleasing to look at. I'm putting the Botanical Collection Bird of Paradise 10289 into the 11th spot. It will have a 2-year, 7-month shelf life, which is kind of long. $100 for almost 1,200 pieces. This set is going to be a mystery for a while, I think. If we look at the Botanical Collection, there are a lot of great sets. Clearly, it's something that is selling really well for Lego and that they plan on making more. I really hope they do, because they have been selling great. If we go to Amazon and look at sales velocity, 8,000 for the succulents, 10,000 for the orchid, 8,000 still for the original that's been out forever, 6,000 for the wildflowers, 10,000 for this less bright and colorful dried flower centerpiece. But you get down to the Bird of Paradise and it's only 100 in the last month. Either it's been out so long and everybody already has it, or it's just not as good as the others, or it's flying under the radar. We don't really know. I do think it is the worst of the Botanical Collection sets, but flowers never go out of style. They're always popular, and the blooms on this set are really well done. So even though it's the worst, I still think it's great to look at, and I would love to have one myself. I don't yet, but we do have a few of the others. It has been on sale a few times for around $70, but I'm going to take a flyer on this one and give it a 2 out of 3 enthusiasm score, probably a long hold time, but since this is the first to retire in this sub theme, a little bit of guesswork. In 10th spot, I'm going to put the Modular Building Assembly Square 10255, 8 mentions with an enthusiasm score at 2.4 over the last 6 months. Pretty good. I'm only going to give it a 2.2. My rank and grade may be less than popular to some of you all, but my concern with this set is that it will have a 7-year shelf life. $300 for the 4,000 pieces is fantastic. It's a 4.4 on Brickset. Over 26,000 people on Brickset already own the set. It is the 10-year commemorative of the modular buildings. It pulls in elements from most of the previous sets. Everything about this set screams winner, but it's gonna be a long hold time. It will eventually grow in retirement, but it could take a while because of the 7-year shelf life. I have a few comparables to look at, but while we're talking about this set, I also want to talk about the other two that are modular buildings that are expected to retire at the end of this year. It's a good end of year for people who like to invest in modular buildings. So the second one is the bookshop, and then lastly, the police station. So I'll come back to those two in a minute and put them on the table. But first, let's look at all of the comparables. Here is the full list going back to the beginning of the modular buildings. Just look at some of these prices: $2,200, $1,700, $600. Obviously, these three that are retiring at the end of this year are not going to perform anywhere near that, but I still think they are overall going to do very well. Let's look at the last couple that have retired. The Downtown Diner retired in 2020, up from $170 to $290, and then the Corner Garage retired in 2021, only up from $200 to $246. Some people are pointing to this set saying, the well's about to dry up on these modular buildings. I'm not in that camp. This one just wasn't as good as some of the others, and so I think it's less about the secondary market being oversaturated and just more that this one wasn't a very popular modular building set. So of the three, I ranked the Assembly Square the lowest, and I gave my reasons. Next one up is the bookshop, and I'm going a little out of order on the table here, but I'm going to put the bookshop in the 8th place. 11 mentions with a 2.5 on the cumulative table. I think this set is great, but at $200 for 2,500 pieces, it's only okay in value, but I really like the colors and how it looks. I know the birch tree has turned some people off, but I like having one little plant or tree or foliage element out in front of these modulars that they've started to do recently, and I think that birch tree honestly looks great. I'm giving it a 2.4, and then the police station by far is my favorite of the three because it is $200 for almost 3,000 pieces. Similar cumulative table scores as the bookshop, but I'm putting this one all the way up in 5th place with a 2.7 enthusiasm score. So I am high on this set in retirement. 9th place set is this Galaxy Explorer, the 90 years of play commemorative and collectible that they did a great job of designing to look like the classic 80s Lego space sets that I have a lot of from my childhood that I love. I need to do a separate video on those someday. But not only did they capture the classic 80s feel, but they also upgraded it to modern parts and a modern build experience, and this set is really well done. $90 for over 1,200 pieces, a 4.8 on Brickset, one of the highest ratings you'll see on Brickset ever. 9 mentions with an enthusiasm score of 2.3 for investing. I too am going to give it a 2.3. My two only hesitations are, one, that many people have already got this set at $50 or sometimes $70, so unless you're getting it on a heavy discount, you're starting from way behind. And two, usually when something is produced as a collectible, then everybody hops on and gets it as a collectible, and then everybody already has it. So there's no short supply, even though the demand still could be high in retirement. The only comparable I could find is this gift with purchase that came out this year, remake of the Blacktron Cruiser, again modernized with parts and build experience. It looks great and it has some popularity. $35 for the 356 pieces sounds about right. Next up is 10265, the Ford Mustang, the creator expert or creator icon vehicles, a 4.5 on Brickset, pretty expensive at $170. I'm putting it in the 7th spot. It has 3 mentions with an E-score of 2.3, so not a lot of buzz around this set. A big problem with this set is it has almost a 5-year shelf life, but some of these brick-built vehicles are doing pretty well. The James Bond Aston Martin DB5 that retired in 2021 is up from $150 to $190, and this set, even though the action features are awesome, got a lot of complaints because it's super blocky. The little Speed Champions version of this is so much better, but it's still doing well in retirement. And then this one that retired in 2017, a little bit of a unicorn, up from $100 to $301. This one's great because the Ferrari F40 is such a popular vehicle. Everybody was thrilled to get it in Lego form, and it looks like I own one, but unfortunately it's my dad's and not mine. I just threw it in here in the database. Although this set has a long shelf life, I think it will do okay. It will be a long hold time, but the reason I think is because the engineering and design into these modern day brick built vehicles is top notch by the Lego designers, and there's so much you can do with this. So you can have it in this form, all these different elements that you can pull on and off, reconfigure it, a lot of great stuff that you can do with this. And there are more vehicles that are out that haven't retired yet that have similar build and transformation experience. So I think there will be a good group that can be collected. So I'm giving this one a 2.5, maybe a little bit of a stretch there, but I feel good about this set. My sixth place set is 10266 NASA Apollo 11 Lunar Lander, $100 for almost 1,100 pieces, 4.4 on brick set, only 7 mentions with only an E score of 2.1 on the cumulative table. I think that is crazy. Yes, this set will have a 4.5-year shelf life, which, you know, it's going to be a pain, but it's still going to do great. Let's just look at the previous NASA themed sets. Idea Space Station retired last year, already up a little bit, but will continue to rise a lot soon. The Saturn V, 120 to about 150. This set was so popular, Lego re-released it, so it had in total about a 5-year shelf life. Mars Curiosity rover idea set retired in 2014. You know, it's doing all right, up from $30 to $380. And then this small ideas satellite set, and I forget how to pronounce that, so I'm not even gonna try. If I heard, I'd be like, that's it, but I just can't think of it. But this one's up from $50 to $313. I think this set will be gold. I'm giving it a 2.5. Fourth place is the White House, 21054, 5 mentions with an enthusiasm score of 2.4. This is the only architecture set retiring at the end of this year. We'll have a 3-year, 7-month shelf life, $100, 1,500 pieces. A lot of them are small, but this set looks awesome. Such a great architecture set. Few comparables. The original White House, $50 to $83. Not bad. The Capitol building that retired in 2019, also with about a 3-year shelf life, up from 100 to 140. Great set here with a lot of similarities, obviously. And then another government building, also with a 2 to 3 year shelf life, is the United Nations, retired in 2015, and it's up from 50 to 122. All signs obviously point to this set being an easy winner. I am giving it a really strong 2.8. All right, now it is time for our top 3, and in third place, I am putting the Horizon Forbidden West Tall Neck, set 76989, 16 mentions, very good, with an E score of 2.6, a 1-year, 8-month shelf life, only $90 for over 1,200 pieces. It's been on sale as low as $70, and a 4.7 on brick set. Such a cool design, so unique to look at, so well constructed. I haven't played the game. I've looked at it to have some familiarity, but everything I'm reading and hearing is that the gaming community loves this set. And one thing interesting about this set is I didn't find any comparables because it is so unique, and I think that is a good thing. And the other thing that I want to point out is that the Aloy minifigure is fantastic. Some people are saying this is minifigure of the year. I don't know about that. I haven't looked at them all that closely, but this one is clearly an outstanding minifigure. All that said, I give it an E score of 2.8, and I'm getting as many of them as I can at a really good discount. Now we're down to the 2 idea sets that obviously are going to be gold in retirement. It was hard to decide between the 2, but I'm putting Winnie the Pooh in second place. Both of these sets have 23 mentions with an E score of 2.7, so they are neck and neck. Just under a 3-year shelf life, $100 for over 1,200 pieces, another great price point, 4.5 on brick set. All of the minifigures are exclusive and they look fantastic. I've actually built this set. You can't see it, but it's up on my shelf right there. Both of these last 2 sets sell themselves, but I still like to pull up the comparables to look at. So last year, 123 Sesame Street retired, already from 120 to 134. Oh, and one thing to point out, I like using the brick set number because I think they're a really good representation of the cash that you would get after the shipping and the fees. The next comparable is the Flintstones, retired in 2020, $60 to $78, also doing okay. Now we're getting into some big hitters. The Simpson House from 2017, $200 to $364. Quickie Mart from 2017, $200 to $404. And don't forget, this is the first and only Lego Duplo Winnie the Pooh set. Now, Lego has done a few Duplo sets, and so let's look at a couple of these as examples. This one from 2011 is up from $10 to $33, and this one from 2012 is from $20 to $42. Easy set to pick in the first or second place. I'm giving it a 2.9, which leaves us with my favorite idea set that is retiring at the end of this year, favored by just a hair, the Medieval Blacksmith, and I am going to give it a max score of 3.0. $180 for over 2,100 pieces. Perfect price point for investing and reselling. A 4.7 on brick set, about 3-year shelf life. It did get a price increase about a year ago, so some people have got this in the $150 or less range. The design, the build, the colors, the details, everything about this set is fantastic. That exterior detail with the anvil and the forge, number of great pictures of full interior detail. Looking at some comparables, a lot of people have said this one could be in the same range as the old fishing store, also an idea set that's up from $150 to $438. Probably won't do that well because everybody knows and expects the Medieval Blacksmith set to do extremely well in retirement. Another comparable is Pirates of Barracuda Bay that retired in 2021, $200 to $313. And then if we go way back and find another medieval building set, we have to go back to 2009, but this is up from, $100 to $339, so not too bad. All right, that's my list. Feel free to pause to review it one last time. Everything in the 2.5 and up range I'm looking at really closely, and then these last few in the 2.2 and up range I'm watching, but I'm hoping to get some really good discounts on them. Thanks very much for watching this whole video. That's a wrap, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and don't forget, my videos are for entertainment purposes only. I do not provide financial advice. You got to get that from somebody else.